Hello, how's everybody doing? Somebody asked me a few months ago to make a Zorb ball. I made one before. I don't know what happened to it. I may have it. I may not have it. I don't know. It didn't take long to make. So I just will figure we'll just remake it. So with any mod I make, it starts with the user folder. There's a folder for vehicles. If there's not, you can always make one. And in here is where you'll put your thing you're making, your folder for your new mod. I just call it Zorb. And I need to remember, I got to get some of this stuff out of here. I'm not sure how it all ended up here, but they shouldn't all be here. Actually, let me go ahead and move them out of there. Most of them. I think that's affecting might be affecting some performance or something. Should have more than 10. In there at any given time as a performance warning. So like that. I don't even know what some of these were supposed to be. We'll just move them. I said move, didn't I? Or did I say copy? There ain't no telling. I didn't even pay attention. So we'll just delete them and then ain't nothing. Oh, it says the files aren't there. That's crazy. I see them there. How the fuck? I don't know. You never know anymore with this damn thing. See? That's crazy, ain't it? Alright. Zorb, we need an info and a blank pre-filled out Jbeam thing, but I'll just recycle one from this one. So we got this Jbeam and we got this info file. And we'll just put them in there and rename them to the new one. Because we got to change a few things. Mostly in the info file, changing mod name if you do that, so it's not the same as the other. And the Jbeam for the old mod, of course, you got to take out any flex bodies that are in it. I'm just going to make one flex body for the Zorb ball for this. And we'll just make it group A. Or group C, it don't matter. How much is it going to weigh? Each of the nodes, I'm not sure how many nodes it's going to be. But it shouldn't be too heavy. I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Node material. Cloth is one that don't have any sound. You know, if you don't want to hear a bunch of crashing and banging and stuff, then use cloth. It only has something to do with the sound, really, and the particle that it creates. Self collision, false collision, true, that's with the ground. Fixed means it's anchored. No, it's not. None of the nodes are anchored. So we can get rid of the nodes from the old mod, and then we can get rid of the beams from the old mod. We're not going to be using hydros for this thing, so I think we pretty much don't need that either. And we get rid of the triangles from the old mod. Now it's pretty much a blank Jbeam. This is what I start with. Pretty much with all mods. That way it's ready for a new one, new stuff. So we'll save this, we'll save our info file, and close all these windows. Now we need to make the ball. We got to make it. We got to go into Blender and make something that's going to be the ball. Transparency is tricky in Beam. You don't always get the expected result. It kind of acts crazy if you use double-sided on transparent. It makes the back side look like ugly triangles. It doesn't look right. I've always thought it was just a performance thing they did for performance benefits, but it doesn't look good to use double-sided on a transparent, like glass, or say a glass ball, more like it, and you do double-sided and you see the inside of the ball. That doesn't look good. So I think the best thing to make for the base thing probably be an icosphere. Maybe a UV sphere. It's all up to you. Just remember, the more lines, the more edges it's got, the more springs there are. So if you wanted it to be perfectly smooth inside, you can forget that. That's not happening, because it would have to be so many damn faces, and I mean, it would have to be so many subdivisions that it would make the thing impossible to make a Jbeam out into it. If you were to make that into a Jbeam, that'd probably be like, what, 90,000 faces, or 90,000 triangles. I mean, and then each one, the little bitty things in between, the little edges, every one of them become a spring. So when you got that many springs on an object that don't weigh that much, what do you think is going to happen? It ain't going to work. You know what? I ought to do it just to show you all what it does. Maybe then you all see, oh yeah, I see what you mean now. You know what? Let's do it. We'll do it. So we'll call it Zorb. See, the name you put for this object is the name that's got to be in your flex body slot. Zorb. See, that is what we named it. I recommend copy paste. That way you know you don't get it wrong. If you spell it wrong, it's not going to load it. The texture, it doesn't have one. It's going to be transparent anyway, so I'll just say new and don't give it anything. Probably doesn't help or do any difference whatsoever to test the alpha in here. The only thing that it does make a texture from is just whatever you put in this base color, which I ain't putting anything in there. Just going to export this now after applying all transforms. That'll export to as a DAE into that mod folder. I'm sorry, into that vehicles folder, not the mod folder. That's a different place. We ain't going there. We're going to the vehicles in the user folder. It's going here. It doesn't matter what you name the DAE, because it gets its information from the files in the DAE for the names of stuff. It doesn't look at that. You can have multiple things in there. Alright, so material 001, I can't use that. Everything has probably been used already. Anytime you forget to rename your texture in Blender, that's the texture it puts on it. Now we need to export this as a Jbeam. Let's go to node prefix. We'll just give it Z. Oh, it's going to tell me to save my Blender file first. So I think it did save it. Oh, maybe I didn't. No, I didn't. Where you save the Blender file is where it exports to Jbeam. It won't let you export it unless you have saved the Blender file. And that and it's taken quite a bit of time. Successfully exported one Jbeam. It's probably about 90,000 nodes if I were to make a good guess. That's a lot. And if each one weighs 3.35 kilos, that ball's going to be heavy. See, Jbeam exported. Here's our Jbeam of our ball, and let's see how many nodes is that. Oh, it ain't that many. That's a little exaggerated there. It's about 2,573 or something like that. So you can drag that to here, and you can grab your nodes, and move them over. There's that little letter Z, by the way, that we gave it, where I said let's give it a node prefix here. You have to have different letters if you got multiple objects so that they can all use the same numbers. Alright, where you see group A is where this goes. Now you need to get the beams. If you know you're going to be coming back to a place to adjust further stuff, like later on, you can put a little left click, put a little blue ball there, and then when you hit I think it's the F key, or I don't know, I forgot what key it is. I never do it. I never use it. But it takes you right to it, so you don't have to get, scroll and scroll and scroll till you find it. And the triangles, we put them in there, and we'll be able to load. Should be able to load it. Should be able to load it. We'll just save. Let me check the spring stuff for them. F2 or F? No, it ain't F. It's F2. No, it's half right. Alright, that's the beam spring for each spring. That's to deform a ratio, or how much it's got to be to permanently deform, and that's for it to permanently break. We don't want it to break ever, so we'll put FLT_MAX. This has to do with the triangles breaking and being invisible once they break. Beam deform is the amount of bending it has to do. It has to meet that threshold in order to permanently bend, or it'll just go back into place when you're done with it. Beam springs is how strong the spring is, and damping is how much less oscillation you'll have. Alright, let's load it. See what we get. I don't even know what's on small grid. I think I screwed this one up with a different kind of terrain or something. It's like one of my test levels. It loads fast, it's easy to test things on. I don't know what the size of that ball was. I didn't check the scale. I'm about to find out. Ooh-wee. I had one. There's the Jbeam for that ball, by the way. That performance is less desirable than one might expect or want. It's pretty bad. And that's why you can't use high polys for Jbeams. There's just too many calculations. It will never run good. Maybe on a computer in 5 years it'll run good, but not today. The texture didn't even show up for some reason. I don't even know why. I'm not worrying about it. But I knew that wouldn't work, so it doesn't matter. It did make a Oh, I see. Well, it didn't have anything assigned. Like I said, I didn't give it anything, so that's a problem with Jbeam stuff, I guess. It needs to have something in there, some material. Uh, because, like, there's nothing in there called untitled for no texture images that I know of. So, I guess that's what it does when there is nothing. Well, we're going to redo it anyway to make it work. We can't use that, obviously. Yeah, so now you know. Alright, let's make a more reasonable one. Let's do, instead of the Zorb ball, let's do, let me see how this looks. Well, let me try first, wait a minute. Let me go ahead and just see what would this look like with less subdivisions. Yeah, no, that's not going. That might work, but for it to work, every one of these points would have to be connected to the point on the opposite side for the reinforcements. So it's not collapse on itself like the other ball did. You would never be able to connect all the ones from the other ball to each other. It would take so long to do that, and it still wouldn't behave correctly. Well, let's do the other one. Let's try the UV sphere with a lot less stuff on it. I mean, that's actually what I'm thinking. But we could do that. That wouldn't be so bad. Yeah. We can do that. So what we'd have to do is go into edit mode, on the wireframe mode, and we need to connect these to one another by selecting a node or vertice, whatever you want to call it, selecting something across from it, and hitting F so that it makes a new line going through. Now don't worry, these lines don't have collisions, so they're just there for support. Now we can try it, see how it does. And remember, it being a Zorb ball, there's another ball on the outside of that ball. But we'll do that as a separate object. So we'll call this Zorb, and let's give it a texture this time. I haven't even thought about what to put. Well, let's look at... I can just make it transparent. But let me look on a Blender kit, see what textures they got. Maybe we can use one. We'll also tell it to shade smooth. And look real quick for some texture. I doubt there would be one for that in there. But you never know. No, there's not. I mean, you don't have to make the thing completely transparent if you don't want to. You can do other stuff with it. I didn't mean to select that. I don't actually like to use the color red for anything. So it looks too much like no material to me. Now that's not going to work because that's a procedural texture. Probably tell it to show you texture based instead. I mean, it would work, is you'd have to bake it. I don't think you want to sit through here and that explained. So let's see. Hey, how about that? Bubble wrap. Yeah, that'll work. Let's scale it a bit. Go to shader. And let's scale it. Not shader. Well, you might can scale it in here. Mapping scale. Maybe. But that's not going, Blender's not going to see that. The only thing it's going to see is, well, that one. And whatever it looks like. You'd have to do something different. You have to scale the UVs, but adding these modifiers ain't gonna do it. So what I'll do, if I know, okay, well, all this is pointless to use it, I'll just go to each one of these, and they are packed right now. You can unpack them, or you can go over to here and view them each. So we got the base color, height map, normals, roughness, transparency, and ambient occlusion, right? So we can load up each one of these and just tell it to save it as, and put it in that folder where the vehicle goes. And you can name it or not name it, it's up to you. JPEG, PNG, it's up to you. I'm going to export that one with an alpha channel because it should have one if that's transparent. And be RGBA, color depth 8-bit. Don't do 16-bit unless you're doing a height map for the terrain painter or terrain editor. Alright, let's see. Should be the last one. Now the way PBR works, the transparency, what is black gets invisible and what is white does not. So if something was completely black, you wouldn't see it at all. See, this is kind of like medium grays and stuff. So it'll be somewhat transparent. Not completely. Alright. Now we can pretty much... We need to pretty much redo this all by just removing it, making it again, and adding the only thing Beam will see. Image. Oh shit, wrong thing. Alright. So this base color here. Oh man. This son of a bitch. God damn it, this irritates my ass when it does that shit. Puts these damn numbers after these damn things. Which I don't know why it even did that, because there's not a duplicate. Oh, I know why, because whoever made this, that's what they had on theirs. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta make sure if you got that with that 001 thing, because if Beam don't have it listed like that, it's not gonna load it. And like I said, we'd have to scale this. I already knew that, so we'll go to UV editor. And scale it. Alright, that's good. Now we can export this out. Now all the other maps, you do them in the game. The roughness, ambient occlusion, all that stuff. Do that inside of Beam, not in here. Let's see, export, DAE. Overwrite the one that's in there. Now we'll export Jbeam from this. Get rid of these old nodes and beams and triangles. Now export Jbeam. Save Blender file. Export Jbeam. Zorb. I forgot to give it a node prefix. Anytime you forget it, gives it letter N. Problem is you can't have two things be letter in. So just remember, if you do that and forget, you can either redo it or just try to remember to do it the next time so you don't use letter N. Ugh. Can't quit yawning. I think that's good. We'll do the reference nodes in a bit, but for now, let's check it and see how it looks. See what we get. I think it'll work pretty good actually now. Just not sure about that texture. Hell, I'm never sure about the damn textures. They're always got some issue. There's our new ball with no texture. Let me reload. Let me look at this, what this shit said. Any error? Unable to read JSON contents for configuration data for Zorb. File path. File changed. Why is it looking at that? Shouldn't be. Oh, what did I rename that texture to? I think I called it something else this time. Bubble wrap. No, why that didn't do it right. Alright, let's reload. Hopefully we'll have a ball this time. Then we make the outside ball, or inside ball. I have to scale this ball, be bigger. Still ain't got no texture. I don't know why. It's got so many fucking problems when making textures. I mean, that's the one thing that sucks the most about World Editor, is the bullshit related to textures. Ain't no nice way to put it. It fucking sucks. It happens all the time for unexplained reasons. Some of them being my fault, but others make no sense at all. Why they don't work? I think using this fallback method is let the game make the texture is not very good. I don't think it was intended to be used to make all the textures for everything, but only as a fallback in case you forgot. So expecting it to do it every time is probably unrealistic. So you just have to manually make it. That's what I used to do anyway, and when you manually make them, you ain't got any problems. So I'll get something that's already got a working material file, copy it, and just recycle it like we do the other stuff. Now all you gotta do is just change the stuff in it to match what the thing is in your level. And see, in this case, and I'll copy and paste that stuff straight from Blender, so I know I didn't damn misspell it. Alright, just like that. It goes there, and there, and there. It should not have to have a location for anything if the texture is also in there with it. And it is in there with it. It's right here. You just put the name bubble wrap base color. You don't even have to put the PNG, I don't believe. But we will just in case. I get tired of starting this thing over. Base color map. That's that. That's that. That's that. And we save. And is the right one in the right place? Make sure that that is selected. And here, where did that come from? It came from the same place. So it should be no problem. Wait a minute. That says JPEG, right? Bubble wrap base color JPEG. Bubble wrap base color PNG. Well, what was in the damn thing? What was in there was PNG. So somebody's wrong, ain't they? Well, we just resave it. I don't know how the hell that happened. That might have been why it wouldn't load. Ain't no telling. It says JPEG here. I must have, when I hit save, must have said, oh yeah, I did. I did do PNG. I remember now. I did it because JPEGs aren't transparent. They don't have an alpha channel. So I exported it as PNG to make sure it would have the alpha channel. But I think you can still export it as JPEG with an alpha channel. No, you can't. So no, I was right. You can't. So if it's going to be bubble wrap base color PNG, then that's what needs to be in here, not JPEG. And you see it didn't. It treats it all the same for some reason. Whether it's the JPEG or the PNG, it seems to damn want to. You see that shit? So when that shit happens, you know something's screwed up. You can tell it to clean up. And it'll get rid of unused data blocks. And for some reason that JPEG's in there somewhere. I don't know why it's in there, where it's in there, but it should work now. But wouldn't surprise me if it didn't. See that? Makes no fucking sense. I don't get it. I don't. You know what? Fuck it. We'll save it as a JPEG. Because I don't know why it's doing this. I don't know. But I know one damn thing I'm about to say. The hell with it. You ain't getting no Zorb ball today. Nah. I just get irritated with this stuff, you know. I think maybe I need to go to one of these places and get a good massage, you know, let the tension out. I don't know. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't need no damn massage. Yeah, this shit's so annoying, man. And it makes it harder when you're making a video because you can't really concentrate. Some of the shit you might see right away and say, oh, okay, I know what to do there. But other times, when you're making videos and stuff, your mind's distracted, so you're not thinking everything. Let's delete the temp folder. I don't know if it's got anything to do with it, but I delete that damn thing from time to time when I start having issues. Because there is a cached version of the mesh that goes there, a CDAE. And it can sometimes cause problems, but to what extent, I couldn't tell you. I just delete the whole damn folder, everything in there. And then you know whatever you're making, it ain't coming, any problems are coming from there. So if you load it and it's still got a problem, well, it didn't come from there. It's something related to the file. Now there's been times I've sat here and troubleshooted this stuff for a long time, an hour, 2 hours, only to find out that the whole reason it did not work was because of a simple typo. I mean, really simple typo. So it's not a bad idea to go back and look at your Jbeam and look for any typos. Like maybe one of these is missing, like that, you know. Or maybe you got an extra one of these here for some reason. That kind of stuff. If you're ever in doubt, look at the Jbeam exported one and look how it writes it out. I didn't mean to close it. But look how it writes it out. If you see, you know, something like that, and you don't see it in the one that the game, or any others rather, Jbeam exported won't have this in it. So other mods that have this in it, you can just compare it. Make sure you don't have extra brackets. Make sure you put the nodes in the group. And don't make the mistake of putting them up there at the top in the flex body section. Okay, well there's a problem right there. See, it's always a typo, but sometimes it is the damn game. This time it's a typo. Zorb is group Z, but I got group A here. That's all it was. All the other stuff I mentioned had nothing to do with it. Well, maybe the JPEG PNG would have, but it was only that. That's all it was. That's all it was. And you know, kind of happy that's all it was. But at the same time, it's a little frustrating that, damn, after 3 years, I still make that mistake all the time. Damn, man. But that's all it was. I hope that's all it was. We're gonna find out, though. That's all it was. That's all it was, my friends. So I got my panties in a tizzy, as the women call it. All worked up for nothing. It was all my fault anyway. Hey, it won't be the first time I've made mistakes in here. But if you think you're going to make something and never make a mistake, then you might as well just find you a different career, because that's not going to happen. Alright, let's I forget you can't get to it from there. Gotta do it that way. Oh, there's not an ambient occlusion. Alpha blend lerp alpha. Oh, let's go to PBR. Oh, we are in PBR. Okay, and opacity be the transparency. But that's going to be pretty much too much transparency, probably. Let's see here. Let's see here. much. We just do it globally, I guess. So it's not any more in any one place than the other. And that shiny stuff's got to go. That's it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of messing with different settings at this point. See what looks good, what doesn't. Let's just see what happens. Let's go in our ball. Oh, it's not double-sided. You probably can see if you look close enough. The way it does the inside of things when it's... See those triangles? You shouldn't see that. Because it was smooth, shaded smooth for one thing. But that's part of the problem with transparency and double-sided. To see the backside, you see the backside triangles too. Alright. Let's just leave it for now. But I knew going into this that was going to be an issue. It's not like I wasn't surprised. Or it's not like I was surprised. Hell, I knew what was going to happen. Spawn new. You know what, folks? That ball ain't big enough. What y'all think? It needs to be bigger. How much bigger? I don't know. I really don't. It's up to y'all. You want a big ball or a small ball? Alright, go back to Blender and scale it. And scale the Jbeam too. Something too. I forgot to make it inside out. Well, this one will be the outside. There'll be another one on the inside. That'll be correct. The normals need to be flipped on the one that's going to be on the inner part. So this one needs to be smaller and it needs to have its normals flipped. You go to face orientation here and see the face orientation right now. Red is inside out, meaning the touching side's on the outside of that. So we need to go in edit mode and flip those normals around. And so when we edit our triangles, export our triangles, they'll be facing the right way too. Now this so much isn't for the looks, this is so that the damn Jbeam has an inside that's facing the right way. Damn. Well, I said this was going to be a short video. Was I damn wrong? Alright, that's going to be the inside ball. Inside ball. Yeah. It's going to use the same texture. And we have to export now this inside ball and outside ball as, well, maybe I should make that bigger. Maybe like that. Probably would have to have it more smooth on the inside. I mean, you could drive on that with like the cars with the bigger wheels for rock climbing and stuff, but I don't know how well. That's probably not going to do good for cars that just are close to the ground. But you know, you're not going to probably be driving in this anyway. You'll be throwing that ball across the map with a car inside, I'm sure. So that should be fine. It should be okay. I mean, hell, it may make it around, but that might be too. Well, you know, I could just make all the balls a little bigger. Yeah, we could do that. Alright, we'll apply all our transforms. And we don't need the car. That was just put in here for scale. Which actually, I can just export that as a DAE on in my for reference folder. That way, when I need it, it's there. I deleted my truck somehow that I had in there I used forever. I did notice something too. Do you remember how big them little things were? And in here they're not that big. This is how it's supposed to look, but in the game they were quite large. I already closed the game, but yeah, they were. No, I didn't. There they are. So you see how big they are? But if you look here, they're small. This thing, for some reason, it makes an extra UV map. When you use the Blender kit for textures, it'll do that. It'll put auto map, but that ain't what you want. You need to delete that one and use the other one. Now you see the true scale of the UVs. Now you can edit them and they'll be correct. I was looking at that when I was in the game and I thought I scaled them damn things. Maybe I didn't, but yeah, I did. I just didn't. I forgot about that. About it doing that. Let's see. What about the inside ball? Yep, it's got one too. Alright, we got them out of there. Let's change the scale of that. Export DAEs. Inside ball and Zorb. Apply all transforms first. Export DAEs. Export JBeams. Now export DAEs. I don't remember if I did it or not already. I don't remember. Override the old one with the new one. And we exported JBeams. Let's load JBeams up. Then I forgot again. God damn it. Give it a damn node prefix, man. So we'll just call the inside ball B. And I'm going to properly fix this so it's now not in. So we got A and B. A is the outside, B is the inside. Node prefix for the JBeams. Since the object's being used also as the JBeam, normally you just put the prefix on the JBeam and you have a separate one for a DAE, but in this case the DAE is also the JBeam, or being used as a JBeam. So inside's B, outside's A. You gotta remember that. Alright, got Zorb and we got inside balls, our flex bodies. I think. Yeah, inside ball. So that'll be group B. And that'll be group A. So So we got our two balls. Now we just need to make them so they're suspended between each other, between themselves. So one easy way to do that is to load that into the Jbeam editor. I got links to this stuff if you don't have it. Jbeam editor. You can tell it not to show you the triangles. And to show you just the thing where you may find it easier to be inside of it. And connect from the inside. It's up to you. I think that's very difficult to look at like that. But I do see where that connects to that. That one would go to that one. But you should be able to also see that from the outside if you know what you're looking for. But it is a little confusing now. Easiest way to make sure you're got the right two connected is go to a side view like that, and then you know that that's right. So what you'll do is go down to the beam section. Now these beams will just be to support the things so that they stay in, one stays suspended inside the other. So you'll go to beams, add single, put your cursor. I almost put that in the damn node section. Go down to your beam section. Put your cursor so that when you select that node and that node, it makes a beam there. You can manually add them by manually typing this stuff. Who in the hell would want to do that? I don't. Well, I can think of some people that probably would. But they just love math, I guess, and love numbers, and just love doing redundant things that just don't need to be done. Or they just enjoy loving work so much that they just feel the need to do it. I don't know. I don't want to do it. I got better things to do than type all that shit. And I wouldn't remember what's what. I'd have to look at I'd have to keep looking it up. Who can remember everything? Not me. I'm a friend. I call him a friend. I don't really know him, but Morris Bing, MORTZBNG, I think. Morris Bing. He's got some good tutorials on Jbeam making for cars. But he prefers to hand type that shit. I see him on his tutorials doing it. You know, he speeds the time up after he's typed it all in, but still, it's like, man, dude, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do it. But some people, maybe he likes it. I don't know. I'm kind of curious why he does it. I guess when you do it that way, you get a sense of more creativity, feeling like you created something, you know. That's the only thing I can think. And I think I got a few extras in here that I didn't need. Well, you'll know if you don't got enough because your damn ball will collapse on one side. It is a little difficult to see which one's got. And you know, for extra support, you can connect these two. You know, you can connect them to different ones. The more connections you got, the more stable it'll be. You may have a duplicate here or there. Don't worry about it. As long as it loads, don't matter. To me, anyway. let's just see what that does. Damn. Alright, we're getting there. We're getting there. That's pretty cool looking, actually. Wouldn't you say? Let's go inside with our car. Let's get a car that can climb. God knows that one's not going to make it. I can see the steep walls. I doubt it would.
Try it, though.
We'll try it. Let's see. Well, I'll be doggone. It did. It did work. It did. My gosh, man. Now you gotta wonder, well, what if I had another couple cars in there doing the same thing? Would it roll faster? Of course it would. Of course it would. Now, you got to go in the other ball, my friend. You're the wrong one. There you make it a little more transparent. Just be sure you pick your ball and change it. They're not going to be doing any stunts in the circus. You've seen them do that with them 3 or 4 cars in the same circle driving around. That's not going to happen here. I'd do the reference nodes too, but let me try one more car. Let's try this one. It looks like the ball's messed up, don't it? It is messed up, isn't it? Because it can take permanent deformation, that's why. If you don't want it to permanently ever be able to deform, you can set it so that it does not. Which unless there's an error. No, it was just bent up. It's fine now. It's still strong. Let's do the reference nodes. I'm going to be here all day messing with this damn thing if I don't get those done. Now, they'll probably never get done. So the reference nodes, you can look up reference nodes, what they do. I really don't feel like explaining it. I'm about ready to end this video. Reference nodes, well, the reference where the camera's at. See, these are the ones I made for it. They're anchored and they're out here. So that's why when you spawn to the ball, you were out here, not at the ball, because that's where the reference nodes are. I can put them inside the ball so that they move around freely in the ball, or I could just make the ball's nodes some reference nodes. So we'll start with the one that's in the center. Let's reset the ball so it's reset. And we'll make A8 the reference node. It's the centermost one at the bottom. A8. Reference node A8. If you use caps, make sure you catch that. I use caps. I usually don't. I don't know why I did this time. A8. So what's to the left of that? Well, it depends on what left you want. I guess it don't matter here. So what's to the left? The leftmost node would be, well, there's not one quite exactly to the left of A8. So it would have to be, I have to pick one of the others. I guess BL0. Or no, AL0. AL0. And what's behind the reference node A8. Well, that would probably be AL14. And what's above the reference node? At the top up there is A9. So now we can remove the ones that we're not using. Save it. Control R to reload it. And should now be looking at the reference node. Let's do a little farther away though. That's too close. So let's do 15. Still kind of close, ain't it? That's probably good there for a distance. And so now we'll go where the ball goes, because our reference nodes are the ball. There's a lot of other stuff you could do with this. I mean, you could make some of the walls have thrusters on them so that you can give it gas and it starts to spin like crazy or move, you know. You could do that too. If you want to do something like that, let me know. I'm not going to do it in this video, but I can easily make a quick video that will be quick to do something like that. You want it to permanently deform or not? That's the next thing. If you don't want it to permanently deform, then just put FLT max like it is for the strength. Put that here also. But if you did want it to break, say you could put a low number here and it would break. It'd just break the triangles. See how they're breaking the triangles, but it's really not breaking like breaking, but the pieces are breaking, becoming invisible. Well, it's because they're breaking basically. But if you don't want that, then put FLT max. If you want it to bend really easily, then put a low number here. And you'll see that when it restarts itself, well, maybe you need to do more than that. Oh, you also got the beam spring also. It does have a beam spring, but if the beam deforms really low, it don't matter how high that beam spring is, it's still going to deform like you see it doing now. It is really light, but if you don't want that, put FLT max there also. That's it, man. I can't think of nothing else to go with this ball. They're kind of low poly. You probably could have a lot of them and not mess with performance. I don't know what you do with all of them, but I mean, you could have a bunch of them. You could always make a river and shoot them in the water. Be one hell of a weapon. You get hit with all them wiffle balls. Guess what they'd be like? Oh, no, you're not either. Not these. you got to affect. You know, here's the crazy thing about water. If something doesn't weigh enough, and it's a J-beam and it gets in water, it'll get unstable and pause the simulation. But for whatever reason, I don't know, but they don't like water. So you gotta in turn make them heavier, and then that'll help with that. Also, damping matters, but I don't know how much the water is affecting that. Yeah, they don't like that shit a bit. I can tell you that. We'll delete all of them. All but one, and this one. This one, we'll adjust it, make it heavier. It's the only way you're gonna get it to work in the water. So instead of 3, let's just do 30. And see if that fixes it. Yeah. This has to be heavier for the water to do its thing. Oh, density. I have to have less density. But too low density, it's not going to go anywhere. Too high density, it's going to do that. See, I don't know really what makes it do that. I don't. But I'm going to assume you don't care about the water, and I'm going to change it back to what it was. That way you can at least move them if you drive in them. So yeah, you want to change it back, just make that about 30, or maybe even more. And that's all I can think about. Oh, one last thing. You want to make this thing into a good little screenshot when you know, go to select the car. You know, you could probably put you a car in here and take a screenshot. Whatever you gonna put in there. And what you'll do is just hit print screen. Oh, before I forget, 'cause I'll forget. Make sure the material changes are saved. Yep, they are. Go to our photo program, make a screenshot of that thing. We need the canvas to be wider. Crop it 1 to 2 or 2 to 1, whichever one it is that is 2 to 1. change the resolution to 1200 by 600 or do 12 or 600 by 300. It's up to you. You can go higher than that, but it's just for a little thumbnail, so it doesn't have to be really high. But I'm still going. I like the 1200. Looks better. Export as and in that mod folder for that Zorb ball. It just call it default.jpg or PNG. Default.jpg. Now when you go to select it in the game, it'll have a little preview icon. No, not in there. Here. I don't know how that got in there. Default.jpg. Now, say you made this mod and you want to pack it as a zip file and share it. It's easy to do. You can make a folder on your desktop and move it into it. Move it. Be certain you move it and don't just copy it out of there. Move it into there so it's not in here anymore. And then you're going to make a folder inside of there called vehicles with a lowercase v. Put the Zorb in the vehicles. You'll press compress to zip. And that is your packed mod. You can now put that in your mod folder. Right here. That's why that wasn't working. Now when you load the game, and just as a precaution, I'll delete the temp folder so we know nothing's being made there. It's not in here. So if it loads in the game now, then you know it's working. Probably could have done one more subdivision for that ball. It took longer though with all the connections to make even more connections, but it would have been alright, I think. Just take a little bit longer. Huh, that's crazy as shit. Where's my preview? I did save it default.jpg, right? Well, never know. The ball works though. Where's my preview at? Damn. Let's find out what we do wrong. Damn it. Default.jpg. It's right there. Oh, you dumb bastard. You spelled it wrong. Look at that shit. That's all it was. I'm telling y'all, man, I make a shitload of these mistakes all the time. And they're always stupid ones like this. Partly because my damn letters are too small on the screen. I don't see that well with small stuff anymore. And I still spelled it wrong. Default.jpg. We'll just move it into the zip file. Now we'll try it again. It should work this time. Is it not going to add it to the damn thing? There, finally. Alright, this should be it. If we see our preview window, then we'll call this video done. And it took a hell of a lot longer than what I thought. So Ring of Fire will be a little bit later. It won't be done today, that's for sure. It took too long to do that one. I'll start it today. Well, I started it yesterday, but I'll do some work to it today. But that'll be more than likely the next few days before it's done. Hopefully tomorrow, but I don't know. There's our preview. There's our ball. So we good. Yep, that's it. Our Zorb ball.